4.5 years ago, I switched careers and I became a corporate recruiter. This was honestly one of the best decisions that I've ever made in my entire life. And I can truly say that I actually love my job and I'm really happy when I go to work. I find my job to be really fulfilling, challenging, and also compensates me pretty well. And when I made that career switch 4.5 years ago, a lot of people were shocked because it was like a total 180, 360-degree switch from what I was doing before. And a lot of people were asking me why I did it, and most importantly, how I was able to switch careers and become a corporate recruiter. And what I wanted to do was share my experience with others and see if other people would be interested in a career in recruiting as well, because I find it to be extremely rewarding. So earlier this year, around January, we actually launched a recruiting bootcamp where I was able to help people switch into recruiting without any HR or recruiting experience, just like I did. And so I have a very exciting announcement. We got a lot of positive feedback and a lot of requests for me to launch another recruiting bootcamp or workshop. So starting next month, in September, I'm going to be running another recruiting bootcamp where I can help you become a corporate recruiter in less than 6 weeks. And you don't need any recruiting experience at all. And most importantly, I also want to point out that you don't even need to be a people person, or you don't even need to be highly extroverted. There's a lot of really good recruiters who are introverts. So this has nothing to do with your personality, and there's a lot of different jobs within recruiting that can fit your personality and lifestyle. So I'm going to walk you through what you can expect in this recruiting bootcamp and what you can actually learn. I'm also going to be breaking down some common FAQs that I've gotten the last time when I was running this type of workshop. So I will be your main instructor for the 6-week bootcamp. And as someone who has made this career switch myself, and I have done both non-technical and technical recruiting, again, without any prior recruiting experience, I can attest, as well as some of the participants in my previous workshop, that my advice does work and you can make this career switch. So if you wanted to see additional testimonies, you can check out the website CareerShakers.com, but I've got other testimonials from other clients that I've worked with to help them switch careers, either in HR, marketing, finance, operations. So this is just a small sample size, but it has been done before. So why am I considering running this bootcamp exclusively around becoming a corporate recruiter? Well, I mean, obviously I have experience in it and I really do like my job, but there's a lot of other reasons and benefits as well. So even if you haven't thought about corporate recruiting as a particular job, I know that I wasn't until I stumbled across this a few years ago, but I actually think jumping into recruiting is a really great role because, number one, a lot of companies need recruiters. I know that there's rumors going around right now that there's a lot of hiring freezes and hiring pauses, but once these hiring pauses are undone, companies are going to need a lot of recruiters to be hiring all these people again. And as the economic cycle turns around, companies are also going to need recruiters just to make up for some of the people that they may have laid off, just proactively to be a little bit more conservative with their finances. But then they're eventually going to need recruiters again. And there's going to be a huge, huge demand for us. So in order for companies to be filling other roles, they're going to need these recruiting positions. But also, more importantly, recruiting is a great entry point into human resources. And HR is a very flexible skill set. And there's a lot of different roles and functions within HR that you can get, that you can branch out from within recruiting. It's very, very common that a lot of people will start their HR career in recruiting and then move around into other areas. In fact, a lot of CHROs, VPs of HR, head of people, all started in the recruiting function. So this job has a lot of flexibility and a lot of career growth. And of course, if money is important to you, I can personally attest that I make a 6-figure salary. And Glassdoor also says that the starting average recruiting salary here in the Bay Area is $77,000, which is pretty good. Now, we're going to break a lot of these roles down in specifics when we get into the actual bootcamp itself, but there are a lot of different jobs within the recruiting function, not just being a recruiter. So very similar to what I was talking about earlier is your personality type doesn't necessarily matter in terms of what you can do and find a job that you love within recruiting. Because yes, there is the recruiting position that everybody knows about where you're on the phone all day talking to people, but there's also recruiting jobs that don't require you to be on the phone as much or even at all. You can even work in like one of the recruiting operations functions. It's kind of like sales operations. They help support all of the things that run on in the back end with the systems and the tools and the processes where you don't actually need to be talking to candidates all the time. Or you could even be a sourcer where a lot of your time is spent on LinkedIn or doing a lot of market research and analysis and reporting. So there's a lot of different jobs that you can get, and there's different skill sets that are transferable that will help somebody get one of these recruiting positions, and I can walk you through that. Now, I know that some of this sounds pretty interesting, maybe I've piqued your interest, but you're still a little skeptical. Like, is this even possible? Yes, I've said that I've done it, and yes, I've said that other people have done it, but can anyone truly do this? And to be honest, the answer is yes. So if you're looking at barriers to entry, and I've just taken a random recruiting position, and this one is even posted by Amazon, which is one of the top employers in the tech space, you can see in their basic qualifications or minimum qualifications that you don't even need a bachelor's degree. So it says bachelor's degree or equivalent experience. So that's right, you don't even need to have gone to college in order to be qualified to become a corporate recruiter and find a job that you really, really love. And one of the things that I like about being a recruiter, which is what gets me excited to go to work every day, is that I actually can have a personal impact on an individual and their family. If you think about it, you are gonna be a huge influence in their day-to-day life, right? People work 70% of their waking hours. So people spend more time at work than they do with their own families, right? They're at work 5 days a week. 5 out of 7 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day, they are going to be working. And you are going to be a huge influence in terms of what they're going to be doing, who they're working for, what company they're working at, and who is going to be paying them. You can have a huge impact in these people's lives, and that is what really gets me excited about my job. Not every day is the same, and not every day is going to be super exciting, but I will say that overall, 90% of the time for me, I truly do love my job because I get to have a huge impact on people. All right, so even if you're skeptical, you may be thinking, yeah, okay, that's just one job posting. Maybe it's just Amazon that doesn't require an actual college degree. Nope. Look, I've taken another one from Tech Systems, which is one of the biggest recruiting agencies. And if you can see, even they said you need a BSBA or 2 to 3 years of professional or service industry experience. So they're even looking for folks who have just done service industry work. So even if you're working in hospitality or you work in a restaurant or in some type of customer service facing role or you work in retail, Tech Systems is open to hiring people with that type of background. So the barrier to entry here is pretty low and accessible, which is great because then anybody, this is a huge, huge equal opportunity role. Now, you may be thinking, okay, what are some of these other required qualifications? So I've just gotten other stuff in here where you can take a quick look, but basically, I'm not pulling your leg here. All companies who are hiring recruiters and recruiting coordinators like Aurora, same qualifications. Don't even need a bachelor's degree. If your interest is piqued and you're wondering, how can I actually help you in just 6 weeks? Like, what is the 6 week gonna look like? So each week we're gonna be meeting every single Monday for an hour to an hour and a half, give or take. And I'm gonna be walking you through each individual lesson on how you can actually make this career switch. So in the 6 weeks, it's gonna be action-packed. You're gonna have homework assignments, but if you follow all of my advice, do the work, I promise you, you can make this career switch. So in the first 1 to 2 weeks, I'm gonna be walking you through the different recruiting roles, all of the different recruiting skills, helping you build that recruiting foundation so that you actually will know what job you wanna apply for and how your skills are actually transferable. Then in the following weeks, we're gonna be walking you through how to actually make that career switch, right? What does it look like when you're trying to make a career switch and write a resume? What does it look like when you're trying to make a career switch and do these interviews and set up your LinkedIn so you can get some inbound opportunities as well? And then we're gonna wrap everything up by talking about salary negotiations and overall job planning for the future, how to deal with adversity and how to pivot and shift if the market or the interviews aren't going in your favor. So this is how we're gonna cover everything in just a 6-week period. And I've tested all of these materials, all of these lessons, and I promise you they do actually work. You can make this career switch and become a corporate recruiter in 6 weeks. All right, so if you have any questions, comment them down in the video below, or you can reach out directly to me, CareerShakers@gmail.com. We're gonna be launching officially, the first lesson will be starting the first Monday of September. Now, if you're interested, you can sign up and register for the workshop using my Eventbrite link at the bottom. Again, just sign up through the Eventbrite link if you are interested. It's just $220 for the whole 6 weeks. So it's really, really affordable and you're gonna get a lot of value from this, I promise. All right, hopefully I can see you guys in the bootcamp, and drop any questions down below and I'll see you in the next one.